In the top stories, officials address concerns about viral video of the crater. St. Lucia disbands COVID-19 warden program, and violent confrontations continue in Colombia. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday newscast. Today is Wednesday, the 5th of May, 2021. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, disaster response officials are clearing the air surrounding concerns that have arisen over footage of bubbling pools at the crater at Mount Llamiga. More in this report.
The video, which has been circulating on social media, was taken by hikers in the crater who came across bubbling pools and pockets of steam. This led to comments online expressing concern of whether this was a sign that Mount Llamiga may be becoming active. However, when contacted by the National Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Eurosilla Joseph of the University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center in Trinidad and Tobago said, quote, "This is just one feature of the entire geothermal area. Temporary changes in hydrothermal features are expected as they respond to changes in gas and water availability below the surface. So it would seem to be more active, but that could just be due to a slight change in the gas or water from rainfall," end quote. The video has also prompted persons to worry that the recent eruption of La Soufrière in St. Vincent and the Grenadines could indicate that Mount Llamiga may erupt as well. Dr. Joseph said that is not the case. She said, quote, "The eruption at La Soufrière cannot trigger an eruption at volcanoes on the other islands. Each volcano has its own magma chamber and they are not linked," end quote. Meanwhile, forestry officer in St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Eric Brown, said although the video seems very dramatic, it's nothing new and not dangerous.
When they see videos like this of a boiling pool, it's quite dramatic.
Correct.
Coupled with that is what is happening in St. Vincent. That have everybody all fidgety, up in arms, you know.
You took the question right over.
You know, so it have persons all excited right now.
Yes.
But I like to tell persons, you are in no more danger today than we were yesterday or last week when it comes to the volcano.
Or even year 4.
Or even year 4.
Correct.
Or I will go as far as to tell you, that pool that person see in the video, that has been there and it's older than any one of us here.
He said what is being seen is called a fumarole.
A fumarole is an area associated with a volcano where you have activity where heat, right, is in an area and it causes a liquid area or for moist area to show either steam coming up,
correct,
or you're going to see it boiling as you see there. What happened is this. The only thing that is coming from down below is heat. There's no lava, no magma, no material that is coming up.
He said the evidence of the last lava flow in St. Kitts can be seen at Black Rocks, which occurred centuries ago, and there hasn't been any evidence to indicate another possible eruption ever since. Jason Davis for ZIZ News.
Dr. Cuthbert Sebastian Jr., emergency room physician at the JNF General Hospital, will be featured on the government radio and TV program Working for You later today. Dr. Sebastian will be discussing the issues of the day surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic. The conversation will also touch upon the importance of vaccination, address the issue of vaccine hesitancy, and outline why the vaccine is our best hope for returning to some semblance of normalcy, among other issues. Working for You airs live every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. on ZIZ Radio and other participating radio stations. The program is also streamed live on the SKNIS Facebook and YouTube pages. The St. Kitts Diabetes Association held its school screening exercise on Tuesday at the Washington Archibald High School. According to a statement, the aim of the exercise is to highlight the importance of diabetes in St. Kitts and hopefully detecting at a very early stage any evidence of the disease or the risk factors associated with diabetes. The Lions Club, along with the Ministry of Health, collaborated with the association on the initiative. We now move to news on the regional scene. In St. Lucia, it appears the COVID-19 wardens are no more. 200 applicants were enlisted in the program to assist with the enforcement of COVID-19 pandemic-related protocols. More in this report.
National Security Minister Senator Herman Gild Francis has confirmed that the tenure of the COVID-19 wardens is up. Dubbed peace officers by the authorities, the nearly 200 personnel were tasked with the enforcement of COVID-19 protocols, including mask wearing and physical distancing, especially by the St. Lucian public. But it appears the outlays for the program have been expended.
It was a project. We had given it several months. Okay, and again, like I said, right now is to look for the finances and so on. So we are in the process of trying to see how we can, because I think they did a very good job. Persons have criticized them and so on. And like the commissioner says, police officers are not judge and jury. All they do is that they see something and they believe that you have committed an offense. So they will come to you and said, sir, well, you have done this and you have done that. The issue is that you comply and then you complain. And that's why we have lawyers. So if a police officer arrests me, I won't fight you, because at the end of the day, my right might turn to my wrong.
Pitched battles between some citizens and the wardens in the streets have been documented in many a viral video. Critics who have called for consistency have also lobbied for using the tool of persuasion rather than compulsion, but proponents argue that the law should be upheld. Nonetheless, the National Security Minister implored St. Lucians to comply with authorities.
So you go down with the police officer without any fuss or any fuss. You go to the police station to charge you. As soon as you leave there, you go to your lawyer and say, well, I've been charged for so and so. Your lawyer will take your case, and then at the end of the day, you know where you stand. All right? And as a matter of fact, if you can prove that the person arrested you maliciously, then you can even charge that individual for malicious prosecution and so on. So, but the idea of encouraging people to fight, don't go down, man. Bust his head, do that and do this. It cannot be right.
Prime Minister Alan Shasney, speaking to the media outside Parliament on Tuesday, ahead of debate on the extension of the state of emergency, explained that the program was always intended to be short-lived. He once again placed the onus on citizens to follow the protocols.
Well, remember, the wardens were only supposed to be for a very short period of time, and we did extend the period of the wardens, and at least we now have better trained people. And if in fact we see it's necessary to bring back the wardens, we will. But we're really hoping that St. Lucians have learned and that people are adhering to the protocols much better. I have to say that there are certainly some districts in which we're a little bit disappointed to see the irresponsible behavior. Persons going to bars not wearing their mask and overcrowding. And that's certainly putting a significant strain on the police, and I'm really hoping that all of us will continue to adhere to the necessary protocols without the wardens.
The wardens were reportedly informed of their status at a virtual meeting with the Commissioner of Police on Friday, April 30th, 2021. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News Force.
Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, Guyana has managed to sustain above-average national immunization coverage for its youngest citizens. Tamika Rodney reports.
Guyana has been recognized globally for its success in the immunization coverage of children across the country, which currently stands at over 90%. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony on Tuesday indicated that following an outreach program which was launched last year, scores of children were able to access immunization from the comfort of their homes. He noted that because of that effort, most of the vaccination rates have surpassed targets.
BCG, we have been able to accomplish last year 95% coverage. In terms of Penta vaccine, we have been able to do 92% coverage. In terms of Rota vaccine, we have been able to do 96% coverage. PCV13, we were able to do 90% coverage. IPV, we were able to do 88%, and this has been our lowest in terms of coverage. And MMR, we are at 100% coverage.
Meanwhile, the immunization coverage for the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination drive, which targets the adult population, stands at 29.9%. Dr. Anthony has again assured that each recipient will receive booster doses of the vaccines since there's no existing shortage in that regard.
There should be no worry pertaining to where you're getting your second dose from. We already have it here. We have it in storage at the bond, the vaccine bond. And so at the appropriate time, we'll roll that out and make sure that everybody can get their second dose.
The last shipment of vaccines totaling 83,000 doses of the Sputnik V arrived in Guyana on April 19, 2021. The government says it has made payments to Russian authorities for the procurement of 200,000 doses of the vaccine, which were supposed to be shipped in consignments. So far, 138,000 doses have been received. In addition, the COVAX facility, having delivered 24,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines in March, has promised to donate an additional 36,000 doses later this month. Health authorities are still awaiting confirmation for the estimated time of arrival of the vaccines. The government has already received some 265,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines to immunize the adult population. Tamika Rodney reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Internationally, 5 more deaths have been reported in Colombia as protests against President Ivan Duque's government continue. Anger over tax hikes has now turned into a wider movement against the president's performance. Al Jazeera's Alessandro Rampietti reports.
Another terrifying night in Colombia's third largest city, Cali. Videos shot by residents of 2 working-class neighborhoods apparently show the police shooting indiscriminately against protesters. The morning after, the scenes of destruction were unmistakable. The mayor said at least 5 people were killed and 33 injured.
We condemn in an absolute way any expression of violence, any expression that puts the life, integrity and property of the men and women of this territory at risk.
The western city of Cali has become the epicenter of the ongoing protests against the social and economic policies of President Ivan Duque. On Tuesday, the United Nations and the European Union condemned the excessive use of force on part of Colombia's security forces to try and contain the unrest.
We are deeply alarmed at developments in the city of Cali in Colombia, where police opened fire overnight on demonstrations protesting against tax reforms, reportedly killing and injuring a number of people. We express our profound shock at the events there and stress our solidarity with those who have lost their lives, as well as the injured and their families.
The White House also issued a statement urging the utmost restraint by public forces and asking the government to investigate any human rights violation. But Colombia's defense minister responded saying Colombia's forces respect human rights and blamed criminal gangs for the violence.
Our national police, our army and our navy act in strict compliance with the law. These vandals that we have already denounced act systematically, deliberately and are financed by criminal organizations, and they have the objective of destabilizing certain regions. Every day they change their objectives. Yesterday the objective was the police. Orders to shoot our police officers.
Despite the violence, the demonstrations will continue. What started as a protest against tax hikes has billowed to a nationwide cry against inequalities and now police brutalities. Major unions have called for another nationwide day of demonstrations on Wednesday, while cities like Cali are bracing for what could be another night of terror. Alessandro Rampietti, Al Jazeera, Bogotá.
More and more people are facing acute food insecurity. A new UN report says at least 150 million people in 55 countries are at risk of hunger. War and conflict are the main contributing factors. Al Jazeera's Mohammed Adao reports.
Is a survivor of the war that's ravaged South Sudan for years. Displaced many times during the conflict, she now lives with her husband and 4 members of their extended family in an informal settlement in Bibor town in the volatile Jonglei region. They receive some food from charities and supplement that with vegetables from a small garden they tend near their makeshift shelter.
Our enemies are always attacking us. We have really suffered a lot. We're always on the run. They kidnap our people, mostly women and children. Now our area is empty. We lost our food during the floods. Now we face hunger. I hope this war stops and we are able to go back to normal life.
But hunger is a global problem and it's growing every year. A new report on food security provides grim reading. 150 million people in 55 countries are in crisis, say the authors, the UN's World Food Programme and the Food and Agriculture Organization. That's an increase of around 20 million people from 2019. 133,000 people in Burkina Faso, South Sudan and Yemen are also facing a catastrophe and need urgent action to prevent widespread death and total collapse of livelihoods. Thousands of people are also dying of hunger in Yemen, South Sudan and northern Nigeria, the countries highlighted by the report as the worst affected. To avert famine and to meet urgent food needs, the World Food Programme says $5.5 billion will be required this year. COVID-19 has also shown the ever-widening gap between the rich and the poor and how the most economically vulnerable households are those that will be the hardest hit in the food chain.
We are going to pray about the war in the country, the hunger in the country. The food crisis is getting worse. We pray to God to bring these to an end.
And then we have climate change. In sub-Saharan Africa, where most of the world's food insecure live, the situation is only getting worse, punishing countries that did little to cause the problem. Here they don't speculate about the crisis, they're suffering because of it. Once proud farmers and herders have now been reduced to depending on foreign aid. Mohammed Ado, Al Jazeera.
And now for the weather. Current conditions are cloudy skies with light showers. Winds are east with speeds ranging from 10 to 18 miles per hour. The temperature is 29 degrees Celsius or 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are moderate with waves of 3 to 6 feet. The weather forecast in St. Kitts and Nevis for today and tonight says to expect partly sunny or cloudy skies with a 40% or moderate chance of brief showers. Sunset today will be at 6:32 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow at 5:42 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.